We're at the Seattle Art Museum with Sandra Jackson-Dumont, who's going to show me how to give a tour about my favorite things. And what I really like about this, Sandra, is that you're crowdsourcing the tours. It's not just the experts who work here, but it's the people in the community who are showing other people in the community what's so great about the museum.
And in fact, it's taking it a step further than that. They are picking works of art that they relate to, that they want other people to be excited about. They are connecting them to their own stories. And so people in the community become an actual link to the works of art, or a bridge to the works of art through their own stories. And I know that you're interested in stories.
I am.
And so you today are going to pick a work of art, which it looks like you've chosen.
I have.
And you've picked it for a particular reason. And what we want you to do is actually convince me to be as engaged and interested in this work of art as you are by telling me a story about your connection to it.
So I came into this gallery and I saw this and I was immediately drawn to this because I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East covering a lot of conflict as a television journalist, as a war reporter, and especially in the Palestinian territories. And at the time I made friends with a man whose family was from Turkey, and they had a deep, deep heritage back to the original tile makers in Turkey. And I think a lot of the art that we see in the Islamic world actually originates from that tradition that came out of Turkey and around the Mediterranean. And so, you know, as somebody who has covered so many stories of just death and destruction and political strife, there is actually incredible beauty that comes from the deep heritage of this part of the world as well. And so I thought, well, this is incredible, and this looks like a lot of the work that comes out of there. And then you tie it to this incredible history that the Middle East has had, well beyond what we experience now. That resonates for me.
Yeah.
How did I do?
You did wonderfully, and it's not for me to judge.
Okay.
I actually can tell you that I feel like this was a successful tour of my favorite things because I personally see this work in a completely different light.
Oh, good.
Through your lens, and I would probably tell your story to someone else. The other thing is that I didn't have anything to do with your tour. You decided on your own which work of art, you decided what you're going to talk about, and you created a place of relevance. And that is our whole goal with these tours, to create opportunities for people to connect themselves to a work of art back to the larger world. And I have to say, seeing things in person, there's no way that you can get this kind of texture. I mean, you can get close to it, but to be physically in this building and having a conversation allows you to create a moment with people, a moment where it feels like you kind of really had to be there.
I shouldn't touch it, right?
You shouldn't touch it, but you can look very closely.
Okay.
Touch with your eyes.
Sandra, you're actually giving me a new way of actually enjoying the museum, and I'm going to bring my kids. I've actually hesitated to bring my kids, one's 5 and one's 3 here, because I didn't think they were ready for it. But I think if you actually do it with that authenticity, with that connection, that relevance, they'll probably get it too.
Don't just bring your kids, bring your boys. Bring your friends.
I will. You're
bring
right.
your people.
You're right. I'm bringing my boys. All right, thanks. We're going back to the studio now, and me and Sandra, actually.